2.8, 2.5. Yeah, what do you say, 2.4? It's a soup scallop. E1 is a veg. 2 lunch, you got that there. I got 2 scallop on that.
It's frustrating, but it's been frustrating for 3 years. My most comfort zone is in the kitchen, of course. Do I like this kitchen? No, I hate it. But the space, it's a big limiting factor. Because if the space was bigger, we could certainly expand on our food that we want to expand on. We can't push forward without the extra hands. We're very short-staffed in the front house too. We don't have a manager. We haven't had a manager in 6 months. And Michael's our expediter. He should be upselling all of our wine right now. He should be making the restaurant money. But what's he doing? He's forced to stand there and expedite for us because we don't have an expediter. Because they're not going to hire it. They won't hire. They want more, but they don't want to give more. We're still a restaurant that has 6 coffee cups.
Waffle plates, please.
That's it. You know, we're still a restaurant that doesn't have the ample amount of silverware to feed our patrons every night. You know, you walk out of here, you're paying over $200 a person for an experience. We better damn well be giving that to them. So this is it. We're looking at 5,500 square feet up top, which we'll use all for the restaurant, kitchen, storage. After looking at 80 to 100 different spaces in Chicago, obviously it was exhausting. It suits what we wanted to do, and the location just kept getting better and better over the last year or so with pre-existing restaurants that are our neighbors now. You know, it's just this row of Randolph is just going to be amazing. It's a huge opportunity. I mean, we get one shot to make a great restaurant. So we have to put 150% into this space from now until the day we open. And then we even have to do even more. Because once the doors open, it's even more important.
You want this to be the best restaurant in Chicago?
I want it to be the best restaurant in the country. That's the goal. We know we can do it. I think we have a lot of the key people. We have the talent, we have the know-how, we have the drive. You know, a lot of sleepless nights thinking about what's going to happen, how I'm going to get this done. You know, there's a list of a million things that need to get accomplished in the next 8 months.
How confident do you think you'll meet that deadline?
Not confident at all. I mean, I say if we say 8 months, I think we'll hit maybe the 8.5, 9 month mark.
He's very disciplined, and that comes off right away. I mean, one of the things that I remember about him is he has an impression about him. He's fit, he exercises, he lifts weights, he runs, his hair is always clean cut. He's just solid, right? Everything about him gives that persona that he's just meticulous, detail-oriented, ready to go.
Well, his reputation is brilliant. I mean, I've eaten his food many, many times, and he's just such a huge force to be reckoned with as far as his talent goes. his food is very thoughtful. It's very thought out. It's very incredible concentration of flavors, and the look is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful look.
He has a sensuality with food and a touch that you can't teach. He has a way with people that's, I think that naturally he's calm. He's a natural teacher. He's a very good teacher.
He never got frazzled. He was always very calm, no matter what. Under the most pressure, we're gonna get it done. Don't worry, chef. We'll make it happen. Like, that's very rare in the cooking world.
I think you'd be foolish not to be scared of failing. It's like Mike Tyson, he's scared to death to step in that ring because he doesn't want to lose. It's the same thing for me. I don't want to lose. I'm putting everything on the line. Not only that, I have 60 employees that depend on what we do on a daily basis, on the choices that we make. That's a huge burden to have on your shoulders.
When I first took the job at Avenues, not meeting Michael yet, and I just read his last name, I said, Muser. I'm like, oh, this is me some French fuck. Goddamn, some stuffy French guy that I want to work with.
European.
Because it's Muser. That's all I could think about, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck. But it's completely opposite. So.
Even when we're not getting along and we're at opposite ends of the spectrum, I still love the guy. You know what I mean? I think that's when you know you got something good. And we reached a point where we can definitely go there under any circumstances. There's no topics that are off the line.
But we have a lot of same interests, wine and food and motorcycles and girls and, well, I like girls. I don't know about him.
You moved to Chicago in 2000 to work for Charlie Trotter. What do you think of your old boss?
Cooking at his level like that, Charlie Trotter, come on. I mean, you can't say anything bad about the guy. I mean, he's an incredible chef. He's been doing what he's been doing for 20 years, 25 years. So if I'm doing what he's doing in 25 years, awesome.
Curtis had a great training ground in the sense that Charlie Trotter was known before almost anyone else for just getting the most unusual, exotic, specialized, precious ingredients. And so there was really the sense of the ingredient was very, very important. And that was well before farm to table became something that every, gastropub did, right? Alinea also had wonderfully sourced ingredients, but there also was a high degree of sort of manipulation to them. Like, what can you do creatively? What can we do with foie gras other than serve it as foie gras? What can we dehydrate or make into a powder or, make into some other thing that's going to surprise you, when you bite into it? What Curtis Duffy has done since then, his personality is not to be, sort of sciencey for the sake of sciencey. Whereas Curtis's stuff tended to be plated fairly traditionally as opposed to using a lot of, unique, crazy serviceware, but he also still brought that creativity to it. How can I make these ingredients sing maybe in a way that they haven't sung for anyone else?
We gotta hustle. All right, I'm gonna read them just to go quick. 5 o'clock, we got a deuce, table 25, F&B, professional SVP, U.S. chairman at the what? Calorie Control Council. Wow.
And this is on Courtney's request to be here tonight. She just wants to wish Chef well on his new venture. And Tom and Courtney are obviously people we want to keep close to our side. So 9 o'clock at Deuce, table 44. We would love a window table if possible. Looking forward to dining for the last time with Chef Curtis at Avenues. Web reservation, no avocados here. The guest is a lawyer. White is Evelyn. They enjoy sparkling water. The attorney office is on Wacker Drive. He attended Ohio State University in 1988.
They've been here a lot.
Okay. Pumped up.
10 times.
10
Yep.
times.
Any questions on any of the rezos? We're good? Awesome.
Pretty awesome. Last service, right? It's pretty incredible. I've walked away from a lot of restaurants through my career. Never closed one, though. Hopefully the last one that I close. Me hard, sorry. You achieved a lot of great things in this restaurant. I don't know. I'm speechless, to be honest with you. I've written down a couple pages of stuff, but you know, I speak from my heart from this, but I'd rather speak to you without having to read stuff that I've written. So it hasn't been the most restful week, for sure. It's been a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of laying in bed, just a lot of thoughts going through my head. You're constantly around these people for 12 plus hours a day. These are people that you grow to know, or you become intimate with them. You're with them all the time, you know, even more so than your families. It's like ending a relationship. You know, you put all the energy and effort into it, and all of a sudden it's gone. Service, please. Last beef, guys. Last beef. Last beef, guys. You know, we look back at the style of food that we put out every single day and what it means about that definition, grace. The gracefulness and graciousness that we offer to our guests and extend to our guests. It's all about that one word, grace. Thank you, really. See you. Take care.
See you in a bit.
See you guys down there? Yeah? See you there? Okay. Keys? No keys? I don't need keys anymore? See you, Chef. Good night. Yourself, right? Yeah, I will. Good night, Chef. Good night. See you. See you. Going down? Okay. Okay, hang on 1 second because I'm going to read these dimensions off too.
The boys are kicking ass, Mike. They already have a 3D rendering of the space. We're looking at, for as far as workable space goes, actual square footage. The actual square footage we're working at 4,400.
Yeah, I thought about 38, like 44, that's fine.
This was our first official meeting with them after hiring them. You know, you start to get excited about the possibilities. That's essentially why we ended up going with an empty box, because it's essentially our canvas at this point. We can make it as complex or as simple as we want. It's definitely a marathon, for sure. You gotta train like it is. So we do things on a daily basis. We try to get a little bit done each day, and by the end, obviously, it's gonna come together.
The pressure, I think, will come once we get a schedule down, I think.
Yeah, you know, we have to start hitting deadlines and things like that when we know that X, Y, and Z needs to be here. Yeah, we'll be under a little bit more pressure than we are now, for sure.
Thursday, what are you doing Thursday?
Nothing. Getting caught up on some emails and stuff like that.
I just got to check in with my wife because I haven't seen her in 3 days. Pretend like I'm still married. Yeah, so I'm free tomorrow. What's up?
Everybody really respects him because he's a talent chef, but he's a great person. And I used to work at Trotter with him for like 2 years. So we were like next to each other on a hotline at Trotter. He was a great guy, just heads down and just worked really, really hard. That's what he does right now too. He's a chef, like 2-star Michelin restaurant. And I know you want to like get his 3rd star. And someday he's gonna get it.
So there's a lot of constant struggle physically and mentally what happens in the kitchen. You take a lot of baggage home and you sleep on it, talk about it with your spouse. You know, me and Yvonne have this rule: when we get home, we try not to talk about work and be husband and wife when we come into the door. It hardly happens. It hardly happens.
I do the same thing. Never talk about work. My wife asked me like, so how was your day? I'm like, well, it was good. You know, I fired somebody, had a great dinner, and that's part of our day. But I'm done talking about work.
Well, I think the low point is separating from Kim, and moving in that direction has been difficult. Not just me, for the girls, for her. I think the high point for me has been the concentration on this restaurant. It's always, you know, I'm finally being able to build the dream restaurant that I've always wanted. It just happens to be at the worst fucking time.
I am surprised that he succeeded so well, yes. But does it surprise me that he did succeed? No, because he's always been, you know, goal-oriented. From all that we have went through in our lives, whether together as a family or him on his own or whatever, the tragedy set me back a few notches. And he was striving forward. I don't know how he feels emotionally now of the whole situation, but he's doing so well, and I'm so proud of him. He's always set his mind to something, and he's always achieved.
What I'm showing here is there are a number of ways to do this. In the same amount of space, in this 10 feet 2, we could put 2 Trolson reach-in refrigerators.
The financial side of it freaks me out a little bit, how much we're going to spend on this restaurant, knowing that we have to financially pay back with a percentage. So, do I want to spend $500,000 on a kitchen? No. This size of the kitchen, yes, this is what we have to do. You know, we can go back and change a few things, negotiate further, but every time we negotiate, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And it takes 3 weeks to do the bid. It takes 2 weeks to go back and refigure it out. So now that we're waiting for that. It's a waiting game.
Today we're basically just walking around the merchandise mart looking for tabletops and table bases. Unfortunately, because Curtis has this obsession with this particular type of linen that he wants to use in the dining room, the table bases are extremely important now because they're going to be exposed because the linen's going to be really tight. It's going to wrap up underneath the table.
Do you feel like if you sat at that table, Chef, that your feet would get tangled up and be banging into those legs? And you essentially have to ask yourself, if you notice them during your experience, then that's a fail.
Well, then wake up, because your feet are gonna hit this for sure.
You know what I mean? Thanks, D. Peace out. Anything that's aesthetically pleasing to us takes a long time to figure out, you know? The other thing to remember, too, is...
What is wrong with you?
Oh, my God. And we're not sold on this for our dining room carpet.
Not that either. I think it's too dark.
Too dark? Like, what about that one? That's just black, right? If you had told me 3 months ago what we were going to end up paying for dining room chairs, I would have said, you're insane. There's just no way. The reality is, the world of chairs is not what I thought it was. And chairs are fucking expensive, man. They are really pricey.
How many chairs?
We bought 90.
And how much did you pay for it?
A lot. We paid a lot. It's embarrassing to say. I don't. It's. We paid a lot. We paid more than what I thought we were going to pay. We paid more than $600. We paid $1,000 a chair, Kevin. $1,000 a chair. That's a lot of money. It's damn near $100,000 in chairs. Can we call SML, find out if they have our plans and are they in that process, and when can we expect a number from them? Because if that number comes back at $350,000, then it's going to be a process of take this out, move that there.
We're going to be back at square one.
Not a square one.
Close. Longer that we wait, the longer our doors are closed, we're spending money that there's no revenue coming in. We're spending a lot of money right now.
When do you think it's going to open now? I mean, you said late spring.
I have no idea. June, July. We might as well wait till 2013 at this point. Let's not rush anything. Let's just build brick by brick, you know, door by door, hinge by hinge, nail by nail. Let's do it nail a day. Let's fucking take our time.
Obviously, we're talking about opening up a restaurant, but we've got a brand that we want to represent. We've got a demographic, a target audience that we want to cater to, and we've got a certain style and aesthetic that we really want to present.
The differentiation thing for us is that Dennis Ray Wheaton said in Chicago Magazine when he wrote Curtis up, he said that, because Curtis comes from Charlie Trotters, and then he was with Grant for a long time, and he said that Curtis is the bridge that connects the two. That was brilliantly said and brilliantly written. So he's this middle version of that connects him to the Alinea thing, the thoughtfulness, the intensity, the concentration, the gravity of every single plate that leaves the kitchen. Fine, we're tied to that. But the performance aspect of it, we're not. He's still got that piece of classic, traditional, all about the ingredients Charlie Trotter aspect to it. Is that representing you properly? You're not talking a lot right now.
No, it's fine. You're saying it all.
So much as people want to draw connections to and say, you know what I mean, oh, he's that guy from, because Alinea is such this monster. It's so hard to get out of its shadow. Part of the story is watching the rise of this new and different animal. One of the tough questions that he has to field all the time is why leave? Why'd you leave? What was wrong? I don't think I'm often happy with your answer because it's not always positive. But the idea, can we package it in a way that essentially what we had was a caged tiger before? I'm not even joking. If you added 3 more feet to the other side of this table on the width, that's the size of the kitchen. We had limited staffing. I mean, extraordinarily limited staffing regimen.
It was going into work every day with your boxing gloves on, and you had to fight for every.
So to be positive, it's that, you know, it's like that. That's how I personally feel, right? It's like I look at him and I go, dude, if you think my kid was badass before, wait till you see him when he designs his own kitchen and gets to play with his own toys and has nobody to ask or deal with, and just spreads his wings and just starts freaking out. That's going to be exciting.
Charlie Trotter became this mecca for young chefs and really has an incredible alumni list of people running kitchens who came from his kitchen. Curtis was one of these people who, Charlie Trotter was very influential in these cookbooks. You know, it just looked beautiful, sounded amazing, looked really difficult to make. And this cookbook turned out to be a great recruiting tool. Curtis Duffy read the Charlie Trotter cookbook and was really blown away by it and came up and went to the kitchen, said he wanted to work there. And one of the things that amazed him was that when he got in the kitchen, they were actually making the stuff that looked like the stuff in the cookbook. And it was like, oh, this isn't just for show. This isn't sort of the showpiece for the book. This is what they're doing every single day. And just the level that they were making these dishes at really kind of, it was a big defining moment, I think, for Curtis.
How are you? Hi there. Hi. Shots. Shots. Thanks. Thank you. Are you having a wonderful night?
Walk out of here.
I'm going to check 50,000 plus. Yeah, listen. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
It could have been maybe a year or so after he had left. He was contacted by, it had to be some legal folks, you know, attorneys or something, about a class action suit that had been brought against Charlie Trotter. And it had to do with labor.
I still to this day don't remember signing anything that says, yes, I want to be a part of this. That's where I was so shocked when I got the letter in the mail, like a check. I don't remember signing and agreeing to be a part of any lawsuit.
There were 2 lawsuits filed. The first one was the kitchen staff basically saying that they were being paid a certain amount, but they weren't getting any overtime, and they should have been getting overtime, and so they were being underpaid. There was also a lawsuit from the front of the house saying that they were not only working these long hours, but they weren't receiving all of their tip money, their service money. I don't think anyone had to sign on for this lawsuit, but people who had been there a certain amount of time were said, okay, you receive X amount of money because this lawsuit was settled.
At the time when I got the check I was at Trio, and I was making the same amount of money I was making at Charlie's, which was $400 a week. You know, as a cook in the city this big, you're scraping pennies. So, you know, I wanted to travel extensively and get the knowledge abroad and dine at all these great restaurants that I've only looked up to and emulated. And so I felt like, here's an opportunity to take this money and do exactly that.
I mean, Charlie Trotter felt like he was right. He did things in a certain way, and he felt like everyone who worked for him owed him because he gave them the opportunity to work at Charlie Trotter's. And so if they complained about it, or if they sued him, or were part of a suit, or accepted settlement as part of a suit that they hadn't filed in the first place, they were kind of dead to him.
You know, I felt a little disappointed, but I can see his point. I'd probably feel the same way. Do I respect him as a person? No. I've dealt with him for 3 years. He's a monster. But from a respectful level, the way he ran a business and the way he ran a restaurant and the way the food was operated, and you can't take that away from him. I still respect him for that.
Dropping off plans, and you know, hopefully in about 58 days we'll actually get a permit.
It's a big step. I mean, having the permit drawings ready, I mean, that's a big chunk of the project. That makes it serious, you know. I mean, this is like, you know, we're set with this now. We're going for it. This is, you know, the permit that we're gonna get.
I'll feel better when it's built. Then I'll probably sleep a little bit better. But yeah, no, it's a major step.
This is actually the first time I've been back in the kitchen since I left Avenues, it's a great feeling. Philip Foss has been nice enough to allow us to use his kitchen to prep for 800 people that the event's for. We try to balance the dish with fat, acid, herbal note, and textural component. So we think of fatty component's going to be squash that's been roasted or caramelized. Another fatty component is going to be the coconut, of course. And then we think of acidity. We're making a vinaigrette with kumquats and Budahan. So that's going to add as a counterbalance to the fatness. We got the pickled hanjaminjis. We've got an herbal note from 5 different herbs that we're using. And just the texture that we're getting from the whipped herbs that we're using is going to bring another fatty mouthfeel to your palate without actually having to add fat to it. Where are we at with the rest of this stuff? Julienne squash we're doing tomorrow? Or is that done? Shave. Shave. We're just going to shave it. Today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. As a young chef who's trying to make a name for themselves, are always going to be cast upon the shadow of someone who they worked for. I had an amazing time working for them, but every article that comes out, I don't want to be mentioned with Grand Rapids and Alinea. It's because it's about grace at this point. It's not about where I've been. It's more about what we're going to do. Grant did the same thing with Thomas. You get tired of seeing Grand Rapids associated with Thomas Keller, and I know he got tired of it. Heard him say it many times. It's just not an article didn't come out that didn't have the French Laundry attached to it. Okay, at some point that's got to get old when you're trying to have your own identity, as a restaurant.
By most people, Alinea is the best restaurant in Chicago. By some, the best restaurant in the country. Those are his ambitions. So now he needs to bump me out. He needs to surpass me. In order for him to achieve his goals, he needs to jump over me. I'm okay with that. Chase it down. I did the same thing. As the mentor, if the protege never surpasses that mentor didn't do that good a job. So if Curtis comes on the scene, comes up with something that is new, attracts enough attention to achieve a status that's higher than Alinea has achieved, I win too. There's no losing.
I mean, we're always early to these events. Curtis always wants us here at least two hours ahead of time, set up and ready to go. One of the first dishes for Grace too, so it's got to be perfect.
I haven't seen the dish yet, so I'm a little concerned that it's not going to work. The idea is that the bubble sits in the glass, and then they get to pop it, and then kind of work through that. I think when the bubble hits the glass, I don't know if the bubble's going to be able to sustain it. You know what I mean? I think the bubble's going to pop. $799 more.
So you have butternut squash, a little piece of Buddha's hand, whipped herbs, and smoked coconut with a breath of lemon tea. When you lift that coaster off, you're going to get a little bit of smoke. That's a lemon tea breath.
aside from like rock musicians and policemen and firemen who are putting their lives out on the line on a daily basis, you'll be damned to find, you know, a profession that is more taxing on the individual and creates itself for failed marriages, for drug addiction, for alcoholism, for losing control of one's life.
And it's from as early as you can stand to get up till as late as you can stand to stay awake. You almost start to shut down and shut out everything, at least for me. Not spending time with your wife, not communicating with your family.
If I were to walk out of here tonight at 11 o'clock at night, go home, go to sleep, I would wake up tomorrow feeling guilty because I didn't put in the amount of time that was required to run one of the best restaurants in the world. Conversely, my girlfriend would really like it if I came home at 11 o'clock tonight. And I'm sure Curtis can speak to this directly. We've all been through it. When you're in a relationship and you're a chef working at this level, it's incredibly difficult. In fact, it's basically impossible.
It's just not fair to someone else to say, let's date, you can have 2.5 hours a week, especially if they're not in the industry, because then what? They're going to bed at 10 o'clock to get up at 6 a.m. to go to work. And it's like, okay, well, I'll meet you at 4 a.m. to make a bowl of cereal for you when you know, what do you do?
A lot of people who don't work in this business don't understand why you can't do things. You know, why can't you go have drinks with me on Friday night? Well, because we're working. Why can't you, oh, can you meet me at 3 a.m.? That's when I can go have a drink because we're closing. So it's hard. People who don't work in this business, who never have, don't understand it.
You know, I tell cooks that come in to Alinea, before they're hired, I say, you're basically getting in a relationship. Like, you need to really think about working here because you're basically getting married. And you're gonna devote 14, 16 hours of your day to Alinea. And it's gonna leave you very little time for anything else. If you have a dog, find somebody to feed it. If you have a girlfriend, good luck. You need to take out your garbage, you might want to pay somebody to do that because you won't have time.
You know, as we start to grow apart, it became very difficult to talk. And I think that ultimately is what separated us, was the lack of communication and being able to talk, because I was never there. And when I was there, it's like, it's not the thing you want to do, it's deal with problems because you want to spend time with somebody, but it's not what you want to be doing, is talking about issues. This is going to be the first Christmas that I don't get to wake up to hear them running around the house and all excited about the Christmas presents and things like that. So it's going to be painful, I can tell you that right now. It's not going to be a fun day for me. I don't have an answer of how to deal with it because this is the first time for me, and I have to learn how to deal with it as time goes on. I want to see it. I want to continue to experience that, but right now it's not possible.
Johnstown, Ohio is a rural setting. It's 20 minutes from Columbus and it's 20 minutes from the Amish country. So there's a lot of farm area out here. It's very wide open. It hasn't changed much. It's still a small little burg. Not a lot of restaurants in Johnstown. That's what amazes me about Curtis. There wasn't anything here to say, boy, I'd like to be in culinary school for this reason because of this and this restaurant.
I mean, it's a big area, but it's still got that small town. I don't know, everybody knows everybody's business. Everybody knows you, everybody, you know, especially when you've been here for so long.
When you experience something very dramatic in your life, you tend to forget a lot of things from your childhood. A lot of those memories I either push away or hide, or I don't remember at all. We weren't wealthy, we were pretty poor. And I think that's where I get a lot of my drive, is because I never wanted to live the way that I lived when I was younger. It was a tough childhood. They were very strict. My dad would kick my ass all the time, all the time. My dad and my mom the same way. Actually, my dad was a cop for a while as well, and my uncle, both were cops. And I think had them not, both of them been cops, I probably would be in jail.
I was headed up to a football game here in town. He threw a ball or something, hit me in the back of the head. Next thing you know, we're wrestling around on the ground. One thing led to another, ended up being good friends, you know. He was the guy in class that, you know, he had olive skin and all the girls liked him. So I was kind of the short, tubby kid that, you know, I figured, well, if I hang out with a good-looking guy, maybe I'll get one of them gals too.
Junior high, you have to take certain classes. Home economics was one of the classes that everybody had to take, part of your curriculum. Well, as a guy, you know, you look at that and go, this is gonna suck. Because I was into skateboarding, I was into heavy metal music, and I was just like, this is not what I don't wanna iron, I don't wanna learn how to sew something. But when it would come to cooking, my teacher, Ruth Snyder, would see this like sparkle in my eye about like, we're gonna cook today, and I was really excited about it.
The home ec room has always been here, and this is where I first met Curtis, probably in the late 80s, I believe it was. He was in the 6th grade. And this is the room. I can just picture Curtis. I remember him, especially as a 6th grader, being at the back table, and we were making pata pizzas, and he just was so engrossed in working and doing, you know, working with the food. He could be a little ornery at times, and never disrespectful though. Never, ever, ever disrespectful.
That's funny, some people can't even sew. Some people don't know how to iron their stuff. But every time I iron a shirt, I always think about Ruth Snyder, always.
He kind of led the group. He would be the one that he was the go-to person. You know, if somebody didn't know how to do something, it was, well, Kurt will know. He really wanted certain things done a certain way, and that's, you know, was Curtis's, I think that's what's gotten him as far as it has, is how, you know, he just really likes to have it done absolutely the best way possible.
She was such a great teacher in that sense of, you know, very patient with everybody, and just the sweetest lady you would ever meet, ever. She's incredible.
He had a rough start before he came here. Okay, that I do know. I really feel that he thought it was a safe place for him to be, and that he knew that things would be okay in here, at least for that 40 minutes. In the 8th grade, the students would be able to choose, like I would say, okay, you're doing a main dish this week. He always had that extra flair, or the extra, you know, let's try this. And he had that ability about him that other kids would kind of follow along then and say, oh, okay, if that's what you think we ought to try.
Then I moved on to high school, and at that point, home ec was optional. So you could take it or you're not gonna take it. And I opted to take it.
When he learned how to cook and when he was old enough to get a job, it really did change him. He had more of a direction.
So I had already started working in a restaurant full time, and my focus was like, this is it, this is what I want to do, I'm going for it.
The first time I met Curtis was in the kitchen in the pavilion at Muirfield Village. I mean, just different than any other young person that comes in. He was separated himself from the rest of the pack there, and he just had a yearning. He just wanted to learn. He was a sponge.
So I went directly from school to work, and I worked from like 3:30 to 11:30. So by the time I got home after the commute, it was 12 o'clock, 12:30. I didn't spare a lot of time for family at the time.
I didn't see him anymore. He was either working or doing his competitions at school. Mm-hmm.
The summer of '94, I had just finished high school. My parents had been going through some rough times. So they decided that they wanted to separate, and mostly my mom's decision.
It was a game to both of them. It was a game that they were playing with each other's lives.
You know, they started going through a divorce, basically through a divorce. So my dad didn't want it, my mom did. My dad had started taking some antidepressant, and he seemed to be doing really well, and decided to really just stop taking it. You're not supposed to stop medicine like that cold turkey like he did, you know, you're supposed to slowly wean yourself off. So it started messing with his head a lot. I would walk into the kitchen, or I'd walk into the house, all the lights were off, and there would be, you know, pills on the counter, just kind of randomly just like spilled out. And there were times where I couldn't wake him up. He wasn't stable, you know, he was a very unstable person at the time.
The day of their wedding anniversary, Dad tried one more time for my mom to drop the divorce. He had come up to the apartment in the morning with roses and a card and said, "Give this one last chance." She said no, she was going through with a divorce. He left, she went to work. But he had already had it planned out what he was going to do if she said no. She went to work and it was about lunchtime. Her and Angie were walking over to McDonald's for lunch, and Dad pulled up in a brown car and had a sawed-off shotgun.
Bought an old car, ripped the insides out of it, took all the door handles off, all the windshield or the window rollers off, the locks off, everything. Once you were in, you couldn't get out.
Made my mom get in the car, threatened to shoot her friend Angie. And Angie took off running, and he grabbed my mom, put her in the car.
Drove 40 miles back out to the house where he was living. At the time, the house, you know, it was completely barricaded in. You know, he had set everything inside to where you couldn't see in.
And I want to say Angie and a police officer came to the school to get me out of school because they weren't sure where Dad had taken Mom. We weren't sure what he was going to do. So they were gathering us all up.
I had a police officer knock at my door and said, "You need to come with me." This was probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I asked what was going on, why, what's going on. And he explained to me that my dad had come to take my mom hostage, and they're out at the house, and I need to be out there.
The police officers took me and Angie and my daughter to a safe house until he could be located, until they could be located. And of course there was a phone there, so I called Dad's house, and that's where they were. So I called and I talked to my mom. Tried to talk to my dad, but my dad wouldn't talk to me. I promised my mom that I would get her out of there. And that I loved her. She told me to stay away. And I just promised her I would get her out of there. And then he hung up the phone.
Hey, this is Bear. Me and Jan aren't home right now. If you leave your name and number, we'll get back with you as soon as possible. Later on.
Bear, this is Sergeant Mason. You need to pick up the phone and talk to me. Right now. I need to know that everything is all right in the house. Okay, Bear, Sergeant Mason, you need to pick up the phone and talk to me. Bob, you promised me that you were coming out. That everything was okay.
The person placing the call has hung up.
I was literally down the street about a quarter mile, about 3 houses down. In a hostage situation, it's a give and take negotiation type thing. From what I understood, he was constantly asking to talk to me. I don't know why. And I still struggle with that today. I don't know why. I can hear the radios of the police officers or the detectives that were there. All I remember is hearing shots fired, shots fired, shots fired. The end happened very quickly. My dad had shot my mom and then shot himself. Basically, it ended in a murder-suicide 14, 15 hours later. I remember it being very confused. A lot of it was very confusing to me because, it was planned out extremely well.
I think at my dad's calling hours, I can remember my brothers. I don't remember any reaction from Curtis. It was nothing really there.
It seemed like he was almost in a dream state, like, is this really happening? I mean, that he just hadn't grasped the severity of this situation yet. I just remember the dark circles under his eyes, and he was going through the motions at that point.
My mom's funeral was in Colorado because my grandparents wanted her there. The communication was lost between us as an entire family and people who were dealing with the arrangements. She was literally on her way to the airport, and was able to get on the phone with somebody to able to bring her back to a very random funeral home where we could at least say goodbye. So the last memory I have of her is it's very cold. It's not warm.
I know my mom had goosebumps. That's the only thing I can remember. She was on a gurney. A pretty gurney. Yeah, she had goosebumps.
I wasn't able to make the funeral in Colorado, and from what I understand and see pictures, that it was very beautiful. And I'm glad she was able to have that there. Unfortunately, I missed it by a day. I couldn't get out there. Didn't have the funds to do it. I was at least able to see her before she left. It just wasn't the most pleasant setting.
I remember writing a letter that I gave him that day and asked him not to open it till he got home, because I know that as a young man he needed his privacy, but I also wanted him to know that he was not out there all alone and that he was not forgotten. I think that was probably a turning point. Even though we were close to that point, I think it was something where I kept in touch with him a little bit more. I just felt so devastated for him.
I remember going into the house and literally couldn't be in the house for 10 seconds at a time because the tear gas was so strong, you couldn't breathe.
It was just like it hadn't hit him. We went to the house and it still didn't seem like it had hit him yet. When Kurt's mad, he always just kind of stayed reserved. He just wouldn't speak to you, you know what I mean? That's the type of person he is. I felt like he was bewildered and I was trying to basically put his heart at ease, you know?
I actually found this notebook at his house. So it was a letter that I never got. He had finished. I could show you if you'd like. It's there's a page in there that's addressed to my brother. There's a page in there that's addressed to my sister, and there's a page that's addressed to my mom. But none of them are written except for me, except for mine.
Do you think we can see them?
Yeah, of course, of course. I found this at the house when I went back, but I had put it away for a long time, of course. says, "This is Dad. I'm telling you from my heart that you're a very special young man, and I wish I could tell you how proud of you I am. But words do not cover it all." You will be a great chef. No doubt in my mind, you will be one of the best in the world someday. Please don't ever say you can't, because that is not a word, but can is, and I know you can. Your life is just beginning. Try to do all the right things in it. Make sure if you ever get married and have children, that you show them and your wife all the love in the world. Always take time to be with them and show them love. Your wife should be shown the most love of all. Take time to talk to her and hear what she has to say, because she will be the most important person in your life. I asked you, Kurt, to look back and see how many wrong things you have seen me do, and please don't walk in my footsteps, because you will be in a world of pain, hate, and sure won't be loved and won't be able to show love. I know you have it in you, so please show it to your loved ones. Everybody needs it. You can't survive without it. I love you, son. Signing off for now. We'll talk another day. Remember, I love you, son, and always will. My love, your Dad.
We've been staring at it on paper for like 8 months now. Like when you walk in, it's hard not to smile like an 8-year-old child, because you see the actual physical wall structure of what you put in your head, and I don't know, man, it's pretty cool. If I go down that hallway, it's a very gradual ramp that goes up into the dining room. If I'm gonna go into the lounge, I go step, step, up.
It's progress, and it's one step closer to getting into the space and opening this restaurant. So how can you not be excited about it? It's a lifelong dream. So every single day, it's a new step.
We're in the Chef's Garden, which is located 5 hours east of Chicago in Huron, Ohio. They're here to serve and provide us with ingredients that you can't find anywhere else. The purpose of coming here to the Chef's Garden this weekend was really to get the team away from the city and get the team back together in the kitchen.
Over the past few months, that sense of reality is starting to sink in quite a bit, so it's intensifying these moments that we're having now. I mean, it's really starting to get real.
September 22nd, I pretend to grow more.
5 seconds, stand by.
Well, it is one of the most highly anticipated restaurant openings in the country, and it's happening right here in the West Loop. It's called Grace, and it will be homed by Chef Curtis Duffy, and he's here with us this morning, so give it up for him right now. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a pretty nice intro, huh?
It's fantastic.
Does that
Thank
put
you
the
guys.
pressure on you?
A little bit, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so now this has got to be one of the most highly anticipated openings across the whole country. How are you holding up under all that pressure?
I'm good. You know, we just started menu development yesterday, so we're excited about getting back into the kitchen and really start to hone in on some of the dishes that we've been thinking about for now a year or so.
Can you tell us an exact date? Because I know the opening's been pushed back a bit.
Yes.
You know, we're pushing for the late October, but probably the first week in November is where we're really going to focus on. So we're really close. We're really close.
Why so many delays? Because it was supposed to open up in June, right?
Yeah, there's so many delays. There's just obstacles that we have to overcome within, you know, all the subcontractors and things like that. So, you know, they're kind of unexpected things. You know, you try to foresee a little bit of them, but some of them you just can't. I wish sometimes the subcontractors had the same drive and mentality as a chef does, where it's like, you do what it takes to get it done all the time. Whether it's stop taking a break or not, it's not even an option. They blame it on one person, blames it on the next, blames it on the next, which goes in this big circle of, I can't do this until this guy does this, and I can't do that until this guy does this, and this guy can't do that until that guy does his stuff. And they're all pointing the fingers and going, what do I do?
I worry about him. I know that being a chef has taken its toll personally on his life, and I hope he knows that in a drop of a hat, if he would call and say, Ruth, can you come to Chicago? I need you here. I would drop everything and I would be there. I just feel very fortunate that I can look upon him as a son. I really do. That completes the life. The day that Grace opens, or when he has family and friends night, or whenever he wants me there. If he wants me there both times, I will be there both times. I'd wash dishes if he needed me that night to wash dishes. If he needed me to set tables that night, whatever he would need done, I would do for him. There's no doubt in my mind. I will be there.
It's 4 a.m. and then we're at Acadia Restaurant in the South Loop, working on menu development for Grace Restaurant. Chef Ryan McCaskey was very generous in allowing us to step into his kitchen and basically handing over his restaurant to us and letting us come in here. We're working on a sunchoke dish that's based around 4 ingredients. We have sunchoke, we have mustard, we have celery, we have onions. We typically take sunchoke and peel them and cook them in a way that to me was very boring always. I always thought, like, why did we get rid of the skin? We use potato skins, we use a lot of different skins when we cook. My thought process was, let's poach it, sous vide it, try to get some flavor into the sunchoke, and then let's fry it and see what happens. And the result ended up being, because of the natural sugar in the sunchoke, became sticky. It had this really nice chewy texture with crispy at the same time. Then we started thinking of what else we want to use within that realm, and first thing that came to my mind was celery and mustard. We've taken the ricotta, and it's actually goat milk ricotta, so we wanted a little bit of sour note to it. What we've done with the onions is we've also roasted the onions. We burn them completely, dry them, and then turn them into oil. And then we also blacken some other ones that we keep. One side of it is charred and one side of it is cooked through. So we take 4 major components, usually no more than 5, and try to expand on that ingredient and see how many different techniques we can use for that element. Once we get back into the kitchen, it'll be refined even more. It just needs to be a little bit more balanced. So it needs to have a little bit more fat throughout the dish and a little bit more acidity throughout the dish.
I think each is like style and they have colors of different. Okay, not too.
Right now, so we're going to call our potential hires and see if they're still interested, and then offer them a position. So.
Morning, Chef.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Very good, Chef. How are you?
Fantastic. Well, I'm calling you to let you know and ask you if you're still interested in the position at Grace.
I am, Chef.
Okay. Well, then I want to say welcome aboard.
Oh, man. Austin, thank you, Chef.
You're welcome. And I'd like for you to keep it very confidential that you're hired as well.
Okay, Chef. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, Chef. I look forward to hearing from you again.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, super enthusiastic. Really excited. We've been waiting on the truck. It's been late for 4 days now. And when it shows up, the shit is just in total chaos. Some of these major boxes that have all of our equipment inside have fallen on top of each other. So trying to assess the damage as they come out. We're spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on this kitchen. And it's just like, to me, it seems like, yeah, just another kitchen. You know what I mean? And it's not.
It's kind of right here. Your first name, last name, and then like he lists it here. Okay. Have fun.
Jordan, nice to meet you.
This is your restaurant, so walk around. Go see the kitchen. The stone went in on the countertops in the kitchen. It's breathtaking. It's absolutely beautiful. So walk around, see the bathrooms and stuff. I'm ready. He wants me. Picking teammates.
It was the largest piece of glass that can be tempered, and we had 3 large pieces brought over here.
We have to take 17 people from 0 to 150 miles an hour in, these next 2 weeks. The expectation on behalf of the people walking in the door is that they're going to be at that level. So if they're not, then shame on me and shame on Chef. So we just can't let that happen.
All we're doing today is just going over the employee handbook, talking about, in general, just Grace philosophy, what we do here, how we got here, our expectations of you. Our goal is to achieve the highest level of culinary and service standards without pretense, snobbery, or presumption. Instead, every moment in our service pattern
Every gesture we make, every ingredient we place on a plate, every drop of wine we pour in a glass comes from an honest and genuine place. We are never cold or robotic, dry or insincere. This is not a job. It cannot be. It represents much more than that. Our ability to achieve these standards does not represent what we do, but who we are. There are 50 billion restaurants in the city of Chicago. And you traveled here and chose us. And for the prices that we charge, it's even that much more of an honor. What an unbelievable thing. They gotta know, they will know that we are thankful, that we are gracious about their presence and their participation in our dining room.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Grace. This is Amy. How may I help you? Certainly. For one, any food allergies or dietary restrictions that we should be aware of? Oh, certainly. You said 4 people. What time would you like to come in? See you. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah, Ava's lost 4 teeth now. I was there for her last one, which was last week. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be there and put that stuff under her pillow that she's, think is the tooth fairy. And I remember the conversation we had with Ava when we told her that I wasn't going to be living there anymore. It was pretty upsetting for her, of course. And then Eden, yeah, I think she just thinks I work a lot. When I leave at night time after I tuck them in bed, I tell them that I'm going back to work and that I'm leaving.
I'm thankful Curtis cooked the turkey in our new combi oven, and I'm thankful all of our health and success in the future. Yeah. Cheers. Much success. Much success. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
At home, I do practice by myself, giving a full description to the mirror or with my brother. I practice on my standing point and, speaking out loud, clearly, but not too loud where I'm bothering the next table and,
I mean, 14, 12 to 16 hours, kitchen life. Yeah.
Is that normal for cooks?
When you work in restaurants like this, yes. I mean, when you're trying to be the best, you sacrifice your sleep, family, friends, your social life to become the best. Yes, I miss my friends, but at the same time, it's like I'm trying to get somewhere in my life, and I know what I got to do to get there. So this is part of it. So I keep pushing and pushing and pushing until I do.
You eat with your eyes first, and it's very seductive. From the linen to the china, the ambiance, and then the flavors, and it all comes together, and it's like poetry.
Well, I have a son, and decided to come see how well he cooks. When he was young, he didn't eat a whole lot of food. He was kind of finicky. Very proud, very impressive, and getting very full. The food is out of this world. Coming from a small town in Louisiana to come eat food like this is pretty amazing.
Give him a kiss. Come on. Leave him on camera. Yeah. We love what we do.
Every night's been such a stress fest, and you're sitting and thinking to yourself, at some point I'm I'm just gonna start crying like an idiot. You know what I mean? So I said to every single one of them, if you bring to me every day drive and focus and positivity and energy and work ethic, if you bring that to me, then what we will give back to you is 1,000 times that. If you need a ride and I got a car, you'll have it. If you need money and I got it, you'll have it. If you need support, if you need to learn something, if you know, whatever. Most of them haven't seen their significant others or done anything, you know, to be here till 4 in the morning and then turn around and see them here at 8 doing fucking laundry. How do you say thank you to those kids? You can't. You just can't.
I'm grateful. I'm thankful. Trying not to be emotional about it. But this is, for me, it's a dream come true, right? This is what I've worked so many hours for, so many days away from my family. I want to say to you guys, from the very bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you very much for being a part of this team, be a part of opening this restaurant, and the journey towards something great. I'm blessed to have a business partner, Michael, to support me 100% in every decision that I make. But mostly as a friend, first and foremost, because I know he has my back 100%, and I'm thankful for that.
What he said. I don't know what else. Yeah, exactly. Ditto. I don't know. I can't. How am I supposed to say it? I can't. So, be good. Do good. Try hard. Okay? That's it. All right. Move to
Nervous as hell. I'm anxious. I'm overwhelmed with excitement. It's hard to sit back and realize that this is the day that all those thoughts and all the time and everything that you sacrifice for this moment, I don't think about that. But I have to step back at some point today and try to enjoy this moment, because this is everything we worked for.
And you're going to be pretty excited to see Ruth as well.
Fire table 2.
Good night, Daddy. We love you. Good luck. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Push, 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 pairings, pairings, pairings. Captains, my Cadillac salesman, let's see pairings all night tonight on that. Let's see some real sexy pairing sales. Move fast. Move fast. This is our business. Ready? This is what happens with us. And this is what's going to happen to us forever from here on out. These 5 o'clocks to 6:30 rezos, they gots to go. They gotta go. Push, push, push. At 5:30, we have a one-top. He is a conductor. He is a big fan of ginger ale. Not so big on food descriptions. He's a regular at many of the other restaurants that we've dined. Let's befriend him and show him how warm and gracious we can be. At 6 p.m. we have 3 tables, 2 deuces and a 3-top. The first deuce, Juan Flores. He's a line cook over at the Trump. Mr. Flores is also a Marine. He served in Afghanistan and Iraq. I have a soft spot for taking care of those who have done those things. Let's take very, very, very good care of him and champ him on me, please. 7 p.m. another 2-top. A Chicago-based foodie who is always looking for the next new meal. Fond of twittering. Pulls out her phone, pay attention. 8:30 p.m. a 2-top at table 1. What's this name? No Facebook, doesn't turn up anywhere on the internet. Somehow figured out a way to score a rezo here on our opening day. Why do I say that? Because we're so hot? No. If anybody was here on opening day and saw how many times the phone rang, you had to call like 1,000 times just to get through. For somebody like that to try so hard, to try that hard to get a rezo here on opening night and not exist on the internet is weird to me. And then at 9:30 p.m., our final 2-top, table 11, Ruth Snyder. This is Chef Duffy's home economics teacher.
Very close and personal friend of mine. No check to them. Champagne them, the whole 9.
All right, let's go. Have fun.
Thank you. Kelly,
okay?
Tom, and Debbie.
Stay focused. We got 2 caviar.
2 caviar,
Service? Sure. Here. 2 caviar, table 4. I'll take you guys right back. Hands, please. Very much, Jack. Thank you. 4 beef and a chestnut on deck. Take hands, please.
Ruth has always been there. You know, she's always been there. She's there for support, and you know, that's hard to ask somebody to be there for support. If you need anything, if you need a place to live, if you need money, if you need whatever you need, I don't care what it is, I'm there for you. To have that and feel that from somebody is, you know, it's pretty special. A true friend, that's Ruth Snyder's a true friend.
Oh my God, do you believe it? Do you believe it? Oh, honey, I'm so happy for you. Well, I'm just so happy for you.
So awesome.
Hi, how are you? You too. This is just so elegant.
Wow.
So elegant. Oh, we do get to see the kitchen. Oh my, thank you, sir. Hello, thank you.
So enjoy. Okay, we'll see you.
Thank you, thank you. Amy? Okay, great,
Welcome
Amy.
to Grace. I know
Thank
Chef
you.
Duffy is very excited to have both of you
Oh.
tonight. And you'll be able
Thank
to,
you, sir.
to really get the nice view of
Oh,
getting to
this
see
is
her.
wonderful.
We need one more for Schneider.
I'm going to take care of that. Let me see. The 2 of their best pieces, Chef. Your best ones. If you need to fire more, fire more. These are your 2 best ones, Chef? They're oiled and salted?
I want him to know that I'm proud of him for being the man he is, not the chef, not all of this wonderful restaurant. I'm proud of him for him, but I'm so thrilled that his dream has come true. I mean, all his hard work, and we've talked, he has sacrificed. I mean, there's been things that have happened that, he has sacrificed to get to this point.
She's special because she was able to see somebody that was not in a place to, one, financially buy things that I needed to buy for school. And I was constantly in trouble. And I think she was the lady that looked past that and could see something unique or special or whatever you want to call it, and nudged me and guided me in that direction.
It is just awesome. I am just so, so proud of him. He means a lot to me. He really does. So he's like a son.
Clock out and go home, everyone.
Please go home. 2 p.m. tomorrow. 2 o'clock tomorrow. It was a good night, but don't get all crazy because tomorrow we have more and it's going to get crazier, and then Friday, and then Saturday.
Yeah, it would be nice to understand happiness, sure. I mean, I'm happy, of course, but balance is what's missing. And this lifestyle, there is no balance. You can't be great at something and put 100% into everything without sacrificing something else. Because I'm so hungry for the professional, yet I'm still hungry for the personal. But this kind of overweighs it for some reason.
Amazing news. You are being awarded 3 Michelin stars for Grace in the new edition.
Oh my God.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, buddy.
Can do it.
Yeah. Let's go tell the kids, huh?
3 stars, guys.